Kai Havertz. Arsenal is linked to Kai Havertz. Now, I've really enjoyed, let me confess, I've really enjoyed watching Chelsea content the last 6 months. They've really struggled, like all their content creators, meltdowns and everything. It's like watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Chelsea fan channels. It's been really fun seeing them crying, all the drama at Chelsea. You should really try it, by the way. It's really fun over there. So, in the midst of watching all this Chelsea content, I've had them talking about Havertz a lot of days, a lot of times before you were even linked to him. And one thing that they usually say is they don't like Havertz. Why? Because they don't really know a position for him. They're not very sure where there's a striker, where there's an attacking midfielder, where there's a left winger, where there's a right wing, and all that. Personally, I do think he prefers to play in a 4-2-3-1 behind the striker. Now, we play in a 4-3-3, so I'm not sure how that one would fit. But let's get to the news for Havertz before we break down more on him. According to Alex Goldberg, the next Arsenal target is Kai Havertz. Arsenal as well really want him. To my knowledge, they haven't formally proposed anything to Chelsea yet, as they are more working on the player side of things first. So we are doing personal terms first, talking about how much you're going to pay him and all that. We've not really hit up Chelsea yet to propose a deal or anything, but we're already talking to the player. So that is Havertz. The next piece of news again from Alex. Kai Havertz is a target for Arsenal. Arsenal haven't approached Chelsea yet, but they're working on the players' side. Information from Alex. So let me know, what do you think about Kai Havertz joining Arsenal? Now, the funny thing about Havertz is still very young. It seems like we've watched him play for Chelsea for like 7 years, but I think he's only like 24 something or turning 24. He is very young. He's nowhere near his prime. Like he's the same age with the likes of Odegaard, Kai Havertz. I know if he joins Arsenal, there's always those people who will say, no, he's a Chelsea reject. He's been very poor. I'm not advocating for us to sign him, but hear me out. He was in a very bad Chelsea team. Chelsea were very bad last season, as I said. Literally everyone. I'm sure even if Odegaard and Messi went to Chelsea last season, they would have been poor because of the Chelsea structure and everything. There was too many players there. They were doing 2 or 3 different training sessions because there were too many players. They had like 2 dressing rooms because too many players were there. Players did not understand each other. Language barriers. Like there was so many problems with Chelsea last season. Maybe if he goes to a settled institution, he would be great. The time I heard that Real Madrid wanted Havertz, I was like, he's going to do really well there with Vinicius and Rodrigo and all those guys. I think he's really going to do well there. Now, the other things that Chelsea fans have said is not really, is too slow for English football. But then again, they say the same thing about Jorginho, but when Jorginho came to Arsenal, he did okay. So there's that. And since Jorginho left Chelsea, I've had rumors about the likes of Kovacic and Thiago Silva not wanting Jorginho to leave because they're very strong individual in the dressing room and he helps them on the pitch and everything. So sometimes also you don't really take opinions from fans. Yes, they watch those players every single day because they're Chelsea fans, but sometimes you need to watch that player by yourself and figure out if they fit into your team. Havertz, the thing that I don't think Havertz would fit, the place where I don't think he'd fit is the formation. He prefers to play behind the striker. That is in a 4-2-3-1. If you're playing with 2 holding midfielders and 1 attacking midfielder and 1 striker, Havertz can play for you behind the striker. Arsenal do not play in a 4-2-3-1. We play in a 4-3-3 with Partey holding, Xhaka and Odegaard. If Rice joins, it's going to be Partey, Rice and Odegaard. Odegaard is a must start for Arsenal. Odegaard cannot be dropped to the bench. And can Havertz really play that Odegaard role where you come back and collect the ball and distribute it? I don't think so. Havertz wants to be behind the striker, make late runs to the box and all that. So there's a couple of positives, like yes, he's still young. Yes, he can still improve his game. Yes, maybe it's just because Chelsea were a poor team last season. That's why he didn't do well. And his numbers at Bayer Leverkusen were great. I think he scored, in the 3 seasons he was there, I think he scored like 19 goals in a season and like 17 goals in a season. He did very well. Since he came to Chelsea, there's 2 seasons where he's scored less than 10 goals, including this past season. So if you judge him by last season, you'll say, no way, don't bring him anywhere near Arsenal. But maybe if you go back to the Leverkusen days and to his Germany days, also another thing is Germany. Germany have a lot of forward players. They have Musiala, Mola, Sane, Nabri, who else am I forgetting? They have a lot of players in the forward lines, pretty much like the front 5. They have a lot of players who can play in those positions. And Havertz is a regular. The likes of Werner are also there as well, but Havertz is a regular. Maybe because of his qualities. So I'm not advocating for us to sign him, especially not for that transfer fee. The only way I can see Arsenal getting Kai Havertz is if we get him on loan. because Chelsea are talking about 50, 60 million. I can't see Arsenal spending 50, 60 million on Havertz. Attacking midfield is not Arsenal's issue, first of all. And number two, Havertz is coming from a poor season. Pretty much has been poor this past season, missing open chances and all that. And if he comes, never give him penalties as well. I don't like his penalties too. But then again, if you go to 2 seasons back, he won Chelsea a Champions League. He helped them win a Club World Cup as well. So there's bits and pieces here and there. But the problem is formation doesn't really fit into our formation unless we are planning to change our formation sometimes, maybe in the Premier League or Champions League. If we are going to play in a 4-3-3, maybe sometimes switch to a 4-2-3-1, have both Partey and Rice on the pitch at the same time, both defensive midfielders at the same time, and then have one player ahead of them, maybe. But the price as well, I cannot see. I'll be very surprised if Arsenal pays 60 million for Kai Havertz in a transfer window when our main issue is defensive midfield and central midfield and not really attacking midfield. So let's see how that turn develops. I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say about Kai Havertz.